our men, they don't have wife, they don't have girlfriend, they are jobless, walking around the streets. So there is no how they are going to think about raping another person.
Okay. Which corruption they talk about for our ladies? Make it open and small.
Corruption of ladies because the way they dress nowadays. So you will see some, they go wear half clothes, they go say they wear clothes. Some go wear clothes, go reach ground. Some go open their bra down, they go open their breast, so they don't wear clothes. So those things too attract men sometimes, and it can cause rape.
Yeah. So make you advise them small before you waka.
Wetin I go tell the ladies say make they dress corporate. If you dress corporate, you put on your clothes like nice clothes, round neck, and if you want to put on gown, put it, make it pass your tail. If you want to wear trousers, wear it. No be say the one where you go tight, where they go see the shape of your bum finish. If you wear normal clothes, nobody go attract with you. If person wan marry you, go marry you. If you like wear half clothes, half three-quarter, person wey no go marry you.
Okay, the way it be so, I mean say that they wear all these things so that they could see husband.
Abi na so they do now.
But what didn't really make ladies the showcase for road?
We don't know. I don't know. Maybe they are beautiful. I mean they think say say some lady they go think say they get power and they get.
Wait to you get something wey enter my head now. I dey think am say all this dress where our ladies dey dress not be offence before law. That thing not supposed to be offence.
The attempt to rape because person wey dress abnormal now, if someone see am, he go have interest to rape her. So it's attempt to rape. So you have to caution that too. Government have to find something to do about our ladies dressing. So that is it.
Wetin be your name?
Nike.
Madam Nike, which punishment you feel say better for rapist?
Death.
You sure?
Yes, now death.
Why you say that?
Because they destroy the lady's life and I don't know, it's just death, child. That's what I feel. Death, yes.
So what do you think about the publicity? If you say they enough, maybe government need to do more publicity on this rape matter.
Yes, they need to do more publicity because it's not enough at all. Like it has been happening since even before I was born. So it's not enough. They need to do more about it. That's what I feel.
I say sometimes the way we dey dress still they follow contribute. Not true?
You can't tell me not to dress the way I would dress even if I can wear anything. It's none of their business. You just have to try to control themselves. That's just it. They should try to eat my body. I can dress anyhow I like. They can't come and tell me that because I'm dressed like this, they want to rape me. It's not right. Because our body is very important to us and that's just it, yeah.
Girls, the way they dress at times can cause rape. Even mostly on the road, if they walk on the road, if you see them the way they dress, go mango. Unless if you're not a man enough, but the way they most time, that's why I see as major cause their dress in their moderations.
Just maybe at least killing them is just the best thing because if you still leave them, they might still have the mindset of doing more or giving them a severe punishment, maybe life imprisonment or something because the rate of rapists now is just too much and it's not helping matters at all. So I don't wish that those kind of people should even stay alive.
What do you feel say they cause rape?
Me I don't know. Well, I would say raping. What causes raping? Maybe guys that are mostly sexually agitated, they get aroused at any little sight of what they see, and based on their mindset too. Because on the norms, a responsible man cannot see a lady going on the road and his mind just goes to go that I have to rape this girl or something like that. You understand? So it is people that are not responding. They don't have good things. They don't even have human feeling that will do something like that. So.
Super.
Screen.
Super.
Screen.
Super.
Screen.
Enjoy your day.
Why do we have more women in hellfire? The way they are dressing and the way they talk to their husband. So the way people are dressing is killing. The women are responsible for 98% of the cause of the raping. Because of tempting nature and because of the magnetic nature of women to men. So and the women now know that men are weak. It is actually men that when it comes to temptation. So that is why what normally attracts them. Okay. So it is a bad dressing.
So for inside the rape matter, bad dressing itself.
Oh, very, very key. Very, very key.
Okay.
Because when you expose your sensitive part. The man, if it's actually normal. So in most cases, it is only combined raping that is very dangerous.
Okay.
But that one has a ill motive of killing the woman.
Okay.
The advice is that the government should make sure there is provision for the singles all over the nation, and the unemployment should be looked into. And they should also educate the sociological of law. Educate people about 20 years, about 5 years jail and life years jail, so that if anybody go into it, there is no issue of VIP. All of us are equal before the law.
Before I leave him where you go, some people say the awareness for rape not the heavy. So plenty people wey dey do am, they don't know how the consequence be. How you see that matter?
It's very correct. So many people are not aware that raping is a criminal offense. So many people are very much ignorant, but ignorance of law is not an excuse.
You know, say government before don't talk say 21 years imprisonment for the minimum on this thing, and life imprisonment for whatever the judge feels like. Okay. But to me, I feel like what the people should really do is that we should focus more on stigmatizing the guys, as in the men that rape, the rapists, than stigmatizing the lady, because there are some numerous raping that has been going on in the society that people don't even know about. Okay. That even the women, they can't even come out to say that one person or so person has raped her. If we feel focus on the rapist, go himself. Okay. Like you be rapist. We don't know say you don't rape. Now we will just focus you say okay. You be rapist. Okay. If you won't go out, you go feel dodge your eyes. Say okay. So this one are rapist too. Everybody go know say this man are rapist.
Okay. They come. Mama, aside the one where government talk, what do you feel say they cause that rape? What do you feel say they cause that?
I think it's negligence. Negligence of parents is causing it. But to me, yes, negligence of parents is causing it. If you neglect your children, they will rape them. Maybe you did not take care of them, or you understand. But to me, it's good for government to discipline them. Because this thing is not good.
Come, Mama, before you come on, greet your people, may they go.
Okay, I greet everybody, including my husband.
You put your husband there. I will not say your husband. Mama, they go. Thank you. You get what
it? My husband.
No, greet him. You want greet him again?
I'm greeting him. He's my father. I greeted him.
Thank you. Baba, you say you get what they talk that time, no?
Now the parent be the first person where pikin go first contact. Okay. You know, so part of their upbringing suppose come from the parent hand. Okay. So the secondary aspect na the society. You know, say one English talk say the way you are dressed is the way you will be addressed. Okay. So part of wetin wey be say I talk say na society dey cause am, because some girls they go dress anyhow, and anyhow way you dress, some guys wey be say just see you, they see all your full package. You go wan taste am now. Okay. Na wetin be dem now. So if you dress normally, people no see that shape, you no understand. You just they don't go see you like that, you no understand. Okay. So that's why I say society too. Now the secondary aspect, but parents should be the number one thing. The number one cocoa.
Primary level, na parents.
Na parents.
Okay. Make brain. Make you greet your family for us.
Okay, all right.
Give our people brain.
All right, my people for us. Thank you. I hail you.
Rapists. They're supposed to go lock am for inside cage, no be big cage wey no be in size. Okay. Put am inside, lock am, make e dey full, come carry am go inside jungle, middle of jungle, leave am for there for a while. Don't leave am there. Maybe when he come back, because of that, you no fit try am again for your life.
Small cage, all those small dog, Okay, just go press am, put for inside. So that you go know say that thing wey they do, not be better thing.
They don't need kill am.
E be like say no be clear eye, they do that thing.
See, na clear eye. Some people dey, they no value their fellow human being. Okay. Na clear eye, no be say. Na true na. They no just value their fellow human being. Because if you value am, you go look am first, say if na my sister, I go fit do am. I go gree make person do am for her.
Super.
Oh, super screen.
Super.
Screen.
And so. As it be, which punishment if you say it goes sweet for rapist?
To me, rapist is a very, very bad thing. The punishment of that rapist yes, make them no kill them, but make them go put them where they put that kind of people where do that thing. Make them go put them and make them dey there like 15 years. Make them learn handwork, another handwork. They make them dey there like 15 years because rape is a very very bad thing. Because I believe in life. You say woman now, no matter anything where woman, for example like me now, no matter anything where woman we are now, we go attract me now. Where I go call say I'm gonna go rape am. You understand me now? Because I believe say woman say now if you toast am, talk to them, she go agree. If she no agree, she go tell say she no agree. You go your way.
My oga, how far now?
Dey boss.
You dey. The matter tire you. I been never tire you.
They will tire everybody.
But as it be now, as it be, for your old church mind, which punishment you feel say go sweet for rapists?
Any punishment fit dey. But wetin me I wan talk be say, whichever punishment wey go dey, we should make sure that nobody will be above the law. Okay. No be only people wey dey underground dey rape. You get many politicians pikin wey be say dem dey rape, wey be say we no dey hear about this news. So make sure that whoever it is wey be say dey rape, whatever punishment would go on everybody. That is what I am after. Whichever punishment they want to conclude on, let it make sure everybody is serving it. That's on a serious mode. Then on a lighter mode, I see no reason why anybody will go on to say he wants to choose raping as an option. It's a very
you get one thing my oga talk before. He say not be the way he say dressing code not get any role to play. Say dress code not get any role to play for this matter. Not true?
Na lie.
Okay.
Dressing get role to play.
Okay.
You understand? But the fact remains that your mind now you go discipline. Okay. You understand? So
okay. Baba, he said that dressing code. The other party people, he said that dressing code. He said he gets more role to play for inside the matter. How you see him?
According to what in talk, truly now if you get the intention of doing that thing,
the thing don't grow.
Now you go do it. But if you don't get intention, like me now, I use myself as an example. No matter how you naked here now, I no go nothing.
But wait to never go. I dey come. E good make woman dey dress naked.
E no good actually.
Or e good make woman dey dress anyhow dey waka for road.
E no good because Nigeria, yes, na them do the law, na them they see they spoil the law. They are our leaders. So because we never, as my brother talk now, we never hear say because all those politicians, all those baby top men, then too they do am. But we never hear say they don't catch one of them, say they do am. You understand? And so then so definitely they go tell say na them do the law, and then go see amend the law, spoil the law. So waiting again. And so that's why all these ones too they do am.
For your matter, why na only man dey rape woman?
No be na man or woman you dey talk.
Na man and woman we dey talk since now, but the young now dey talk the guy. I gonna say the be like say na only man dey rape woman.
Na woman too that dey seduce men. But definitely, if a woman wan seduce you, you got to apply your common sense.
Any woman wey rape man, wetin dem suppose do?
The same thing wey dem do man at the same thing wey dem do man at the same thing wey dem go do the woman.
If woman rape man, wetin dem go do am?
The same offense now, the same judgment must be passed.
But you believe say woman fit rape man, abi?
Then they rape, no be say they feel, then they rape man.
Then they do am too.
If you just joined us, it's U45 Morning Show right here on Super Screen TV. Like we said, we're broadcasting on several platforms. You can actually send family and friend outside the shores of Nigeria, our live streaming platform at www.superscreen.tv. You can download our Syphilis and Cloveword app from the Google Play Store as well. However, we're broadcasting here from Lagos on UHF 45 and Star Times 173. Now it's time for us to get to the front burner issue. We're actually looking at a topic that echoes. Let's take a word first from it. The word rape has been on the news in the last 10-15 days now, and several civil society organizations have come out to say, hey, we have to take this very seriously. That is not to say we are not still facing the pandemic of COVID-19, which the cases we had this morning is over 300. But let's come to the studio now. We'll have two Nigerians join us. From my far right is an Islamic scholar. He is a journalist and an activist with some interest in politics. I don't know that as well, but we'll find out in the course of our conversation. He is Aliu Gbodofu. He joins us today to look at the issue around rape. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
It's a pleasure. I've been in the studio with you.
All right, and the next gentleman, you've seen his face here a couple of times, especially when it comes to the word I use when I want to actually give him credence. I say the pain doctor. We'll have Imhogiemhe Tosin join us. He's a psychologist and a life coach. It's a pleasure to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, gentlemen, I'd like to take a few thought about traveling to the studio. With the whole lockdown now eased to a point, the PTF is looking forward to opening up Nigeria 100% in terms of business. Let's start from you. What was it like driving to the studio this morning?
Well, you know, our state, Lagos, is overpopulated, and it's just the usual thing. I discovered that there was traffic again on the road, and you know, because we have bad roads, this also contributes to the traffic we have in Lagos.
Okay.
So I think the government, we just need to work more on the other channels, train system and all that, and things will get better.
Okay, I think Lagos State is doing a lot. Probably part of the whole vision to have a mega city. The waterways seem to be quite effective with the number of ferries we have. Let's talk to Aliu Gbodofu. What was it like coming? You don't stay too far from the neighborhood.
Yeah. I think it's just Lagos as usual, and we coming here is you can see the effect of lockdown or a kind of easing down the lockdown. That's no longer there. What we have now is just the normal Lagos, despite the fact that some things are still restricted here and there, but it is just normal Lagos. Some things are restricted, but it's not affecting the really common activities of moving around here and there. The buses will have to be there at the bus stop. You take them, and if you are taking your car, you see the normal. You know, you encounter the normal hold up.
Okay. What about compliance, gentlemen? Face mask, hand sanitizers at the garages. Which one? When you're driving, do you see such when you drive past parks and garages?
I'll just say that our law enforcement agencies need to work more. They need to, because I think it's always difficult to manage Nigerians. You know, sometimes it seems as though everyone needs someone to always, you know, supervise or monitor them. Do you understand? So I think it has to be enforced. We need law enforcement agency to always
be on their toes doing their job.
Yes.
Okay, let's come to the matter of what we have on the screen today. It's actually the victim of rape and sexual abuse that we're looking at. And we're saying to viewers, we don't have restriction for the participation because we want to be as participatory as the guest in the studio. Feel free to call in. Let's start talking. Two things I'm going to pose is, first of all, the first one, when the case rape happens, why is it that it is the rape victim that suffers stigma instead of the perpetrator of the rape, which is called the rapist? If you've observed what I'm saying. So, for instance, let's use a man that raped the 11-year-old child, which we're going to bring you the details of the story, and he said he was under the influence of alcohol. But at the end of the day, it is that child growing up that people keep saying, she has been raped when she was 11, instead of the man that got drunk and raped the child. You can tell us what you think. The second part is sex education. At what age should we start schooling our children and world about the sensitivity of their body? Plus, we might be looking at what the penalties will be, but we'll have some official information here we're going to be doing that. But let's establish with the gentleman in the studio. I'd like to start from the pain doctor. As a psychologist, in the course of your study and research, to what level have you come to terms with stigma in rape?
I believe 10 out of 10. There's usually a stigma that comes with rape, and that's why, you know, rape is something that is really, really underreported. because
underreported.
Yeah, underreported 9 out of 10 times. You know, you don't know the story about rape because, for example, when somebody is raped, a lady is raped, the family would want to conceal it because the society have a view or have, you know, a way of looking at the incident. Now they may even want to, you know, blame the victim for perhaps not dressing appropriately, being at the wrong place at the wrong time and all those things. So that usually makes it make people conceal it. So sometimes people feel, oh, this would soil the name of our family, you know. And for example, in years time, someone comes to, you know, marry the lady, and neighbors or people will be like, that's the family of the lady that was raped. So I think it boils down to our values, how we see things in, you know, this part of the world, or even the world at large. You know, we tend to victimize, or we tend to stigmatize people when bad things happen to them, rather than empathize and sympathize with them. So that's where the challenge is.
Okay, I think this is a very interesting one you just established, but never mind. Let's take your introduction to the word rape itself. You're currently doing studies. You're on the part of your doctorate now. I know it might not be totally focused on what we're discussing, but as someone that is on the media as well, and someone still learning, what does the word rape mean to you? Rape. And how do you perceive it?
Well, rape is any activity that is carried out to steal, to take from someone what does not belong to you forcefully. And when you look at the background of my definition, or from the prism through which I look at rape, you'll find Islam as the prism.
Okay.
Because rape in Islam is referred to as iktisab. Iktisab means taking forcefully. It could be property, it could be something material, it could be something immaterial. When you forcefully take away something, now you will now ask me, what is this rapist taking from the victim? Now, it is the honor, the self-esteem, the pride has been forcefully taken. You know, forcefully taken because it is the consent is not there. So when you forcefully take something from someone, it is rape. That's why you will see people using the word rape in different versions. Oh, this is political rape. This is intellectual rape. So when you are forcefully taking something without consent and with the use of something to threaten or force, there should be a weapon. But when we come to that, we will define what weapon it could be in each instance.
Fantastic. Okay, so
that's an interesting. I was going to say that, you know, I was expecting to come here earlier, and I think the road ripped me because the road took more
yeah.
Interesting. Anyways, gentlemen, we're going to talk more on this, but let's not talk about the fact that the perception that rape is often being meted on a female by a male.
Maybe we should streamline it now to sexual abuse.
Okay.
Because when you say rape, you know, you give a broader definition of rape.
Okay, so, sexual abuse. he did a dissecting there. Okay, let's take it from there. Of course, it's on the screen as sexual abuse is part of what we're discussing. Let's look at sexual abuse. Oftentimes, the society perceives it as an act meted on a female by a male. Your take?
Yeah, but it happens in both ways. It happens, for example, Tyler Perry was sexually abused. Tyler Perry, the movie director, was sexually abused by a friend's mother. But more often than not, men do not report those cases because, you know, what would society say that a man was raped? You know, you would feel this, your sense of pride would, you know, be bruised. Yes, be diminished because people begin to, what do you mean by they raped you as a man? You ought to have. But these things happen. A friend of mine shared an experience with me when he was at the university, when ladies will always seek his assistance, you know, on their academic work. So they'll oftentimes come to his room and want him to assist them. And in the process, you know, they raped him. But he only shared that experience with his friend. He didn't, you know. So, and even when you review that, a lot of people feel because the men have, they're more physical than, you know, the ladies, they can overpower them, and it couldn't have happened. But of course, it happens even the other way. Now, there are also young boys, young children who are sexually abused by maybe perhaps their aunties, neighbors, and all that. You understand? Whereby maybe a woman could keep a child with the neighbor and say, okay, I just want to get somewhere and please help me. And in the process, they start playing with his genitals. Start playing with him and trying to ensure that make him touch our own private parts and all that. So that's also an abuse, because psychologically you're affecting that child's mindset, and he may grow up to become what you've said teaching him. So it happens both ways, not just, but of course it happens more with the women because they're more vulnerable. The men can overpower women and sometimes even injure or kill them. So it happens both ways.
Okay. All right, you want to pick on
that? Yeah. I think it is more difficult to establish that a male has been raped, that a man has been raped, for reasons. Because rape usually comes with force, usually comes with strength. So it is not always easy for a man to establish that a female had overpowered him. It's always not. Even with the gun, you say, okay, at least you are a man. The strength is in you. Yeah, men are believed to be to be stronger than women.
Yeah.
So how could someone that is weaker than you, weaker sex, as we usually want to tag women, how could a weaker sex have overpowered the stronger sex? That is one thing. The other thing is that it will be more appropriate to use the word sexual abuse for men than to say a man has been raped. Because for a man to be engaged in sexual intercourse, as you may have it, he must have an erection. Someone that is in the state of fear, that his mind is not together, how can such a person have an erection? It is not just possible. You must be focused and you must be interested in that thing. Unlike the women that, okay, it's just a door.
So is the word there seduction?
Seduction. When you are when we use the word seduction, yes, we can say a man can be seduced or sexually abused. But really, it will be very hard for a man to establish that he has been raped under maybe at gunpoint. It is not. It is not. It is not.
But I mentioned the fact that of course you could have multiple women. You could have 3, 4,
like the
5
case of students. This happened a couple of months back in the West here. Students, girls, raped a class teacher. Now that case is still on.
So that's a fact.
Yes, and there are over 6 of them, and the gentleman was said to be recuperating from ill health.
Well, except if we need to ask the victim now.
Okay.
That how were you able? I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it is difficult to establish such a thing
because of the process of erection from the mind.
It is a thing of the mind.
Yeah, it's a thing of the mind. But for example, if in such a case, these ladies strip off their clothes.
Okay.
Men are moved by what things that we see.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Before you, there's this concept that you are not.
Even with
mind.
his malaria.
You are not your mind. Do you understand? Your mind sometimes acts independently. So you may want to do something, but your mind is trying to do something else. That's why when you're watching a movie, sometimes you know that it's a stage play, but you cry or you feel fear. Your consciousness, you know that this is just a stage play. But yet your mind is forcing you to cry because your mind cannot differentiate between reality and fiction. So in such a case where ladies are stripped and they begin to touch your skin, of course, the information is going to be passed through your mind.
Yeah.
Because your skin is also in media, of course.
The neurons will carry the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in such a case, an erection can come up.
Yes. And I am looking at how can we say it is not contradictory for me to be in a state of fear, whereby I'm acting under duress, and at the same time I'm being enticed towards that very thing that is creating fear in me. It is better to say men are being seduced. You see,
because sex brings pleasure.
Yeah, because your mind.
But it's not sex; it's rape.
No. Yeah, no. Rape is a form of sex. We cannot categorize it, whether it comes with consent or not. But what we are saying is that for you to be to be under a force, something forcing you against your wish, and you're also having erection. It sounds contradictory.
Okay, we'll find out where your school of thought is all about. But let's bring our viewers some stories that we got from the headlines. And of course, we'll have the gentlemen in the studio to banter on them. We'll have court frees girl who killed father's friend over rape attempt. That's the first one. And Kano man who admitted raping over 40 women arrested. Man rapes 11-year-old in Benue, blames alcohol. And the last one, no, we have two more. Nigerians justifying rape will be arrested. NAPTIP warns. Then lastly, lockdown raised rape cases. FG. FG is for federal government. Don't get it wrong. So while we get to the gentlemen, feel free to join the conversation from home, or you send us words via our social media handles at Superscreen TV. Meanwhile, you can call any of the phone numbers there to lend a voice to the situation. Either what we're discussing in context or the question we asked earlier, should sex education be taught at what age? And of course, why is it that women are more victimized when there are cases of rape? So we'll be looking at that. So let's come to the studio, gentlemen. First of all, let's banter on this. I just want to get your thoughts, even though we're not going to be reading the stories in full. Court frees girl who killed father's friend over rape attempt. You guys are not lawyers, but just from as a citizen of Nigeria and a human, what do you think about it? The girl was freed at the end of the day, but she actually killed the man that tried to rape her, and this is her father's friend.
Well, you know, court cases sometimes depends on how good the lawyers are. You know, sometimes you could kill someone in broad daylight, and if you have a good lawyer who can defend you and, you know, prove you beyond the reasonable doubt that, of course, you weren't guilty, then you know, sometimes it happens that way. Okay. So I think it boils down to that. But I think that, you know, it makes some.
Let's take Loretta, please. Just hold your thoughts. Loretta, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Loretta. I want to talk about
there is no clarity in the conversation. I'd like to establish this with our viewers. Please turn down the volume of your TV set, then go ahead and make your contribution. So Loretta, if you can hear me, do call us again, but ensure that you turn down the volume of your TV set. Then, of course, if you're watching with family at home right now, you might want to tell them to just mellow a little bit while you talk to us so that we can get a seamless conversation here in the studio. You were about to say something.
Well, I can imagine what the argument of the lawyer, the counsel to the lady will have been. And it could be that, you see, when someone kills in an attempt to defend himself or herself, it is allowed,
so
because
there's
justification for it. So this person wants to rape me, and you know, rape could lead to murder, because most rape victims were killed because they can actually identify the rapist. Yeah. So in order to conceal,
like the case in Benin.
So it is better that fine, the rapist might not be thinking of killing the victim, but after the act of rape, then what next? Then there will be chaos. Okay. Something bad will happen now. The law will be after me. Then the best way to conceal this is to get the victim killed. So that is it. So we can say that someone that has come to rape you, has come to steal something from you, is like, in Islam, the person is stealing as an armed robber. It's treated as a robbery case. So because he has come to rob. That was what I was saying when I was defining rape. Okay. He has come to steal a property, because in Islam, your head, your eyes, everything, all parts of your body are your properties, and you are responsible. For protecting it. So if someone has now come to steal your honor, your self-esteem, your pride, you are at liberty to defend yourself, which could entail killing the person.
The perpetrator.
Yeah.
This is a very deep situation.
I agree with him, because I was going to say that yes, it could also be done in self-defense, trying to defend yourself while that happened. And,
okay.
You know,
all right. Let's take another story from. These are all news this morning, not like we're going 2 days back. The next one here says man who admitted raping over 40 women actually was arrested. I would like to read his story because it's quite short. It says here that police in Kano State arrested a man suspected of being a serial rapist. Now, spokesman for the Kano Police Command, Abdullahi Haruna, told newsmen that the suspect has been detained in the town of Dangora, where there had been around 40 rapes over the last year. We're not talking about 10 years ago. Now, Haruna said victims include an 80-year-old woman and children aged less than 10. A female resident of Dangora, Halima Sani, noted that the man's arrest was a relief. She said women in this town have been scared for long. Now, for want of more information, in a quote here, no one was safe, children, married, or the elderly. We are grateful. Now we can now sleep with our eyes closed. The town's chief, Amadu Yao, also said it was a welcome development, saying one of the neighbors had been raped. Then lastly, Yao stated, people of Dangora are so happy at this time, and we hope justice will be served appropriately. Now, police say they are drawing up the paperwork to charge the man to court. But before we continue, let's take John from Badagry. John, good morning. It's good to have you join us on U45. John, if you can hear us, please go ahead and make your contribution. Hello, John from Badagry. Okay, I think there's an interference there. John, do call us again. Like we said, turn down the volume of your TV set. We'd like to get your contribution, actually. So, I just read a case now. This is one amongst many. We'll get to NAPTIC very soon, where they said if you're actually promoting rape by any form of statement, you're going to be arrested. But let's take your thoughts quickly.
Well, I think the last one you said about NAPTIC is even overriding any other thing on my mind at the moment. Because why I'm saying this is that, what do we mean by saying justifying rape? Most of in most cases, we find out that people.
Okay, hold on, please. We have Wumi from Shomolu. Who said we're going to be having interactions with our viewers. Okay, Wumi, good morning. Welcome to U45.
Yeah, my own opinion is that. Good morning. Good morning. So my own opinion is that Mr. Aliu was talking about when a lady rapes a man, that why is it that he's going to arrest? The fact is that when your genital is touching another opposite sex sensitive parts, there's no how erection is going to take place definitely. Here on the Sasha. So what of a case in which the same sex is raping each other? Because I have a friend who was raped, the same sex, and he committed a suicide, killed himself, things like that. So I guess in my own opinion, rape is rape. Once you force it on someone, and that person is not really happy with what you are doing.
Thank you very much.
Rape is rape.
Okay. All right.
I said something like this, and I quite agree with what she said, that the skin, of course, is also
very reactive.
Yeah. So, and even if it were even your blood brother or sister, it could happen because it's more powerful than For example, you could there is really no how do I put it? For example, if you're a lady and I wasn't aware that you're my sister, I could always have an erection, for you. I could always find you seductive. Do you understand? So the fact that we are blood brothers or sisters is only a mindset that you have, and that mindset now shapes, your thoughts and how you judge. Do you understand? So even there are cases, there are things that I'm sure, beyond reasonable doubt, that there are even cases where brothers rape sisters. They happened in the scriptures, where one of David's child raped the sister and all that. Now, he shouldn't have had an erection, but this is not him. This is his mind. Do you understand? This is his mind.
Yeah, maybe I need to make myself clear on that.
Okay.
There are two things involved, and the two things boil down to the mind.
Okay. So you agree with the mind?
It's a mind thing. Okay. Now, my own concern is that
just again.
Okay.
You will take that.
Okay.
Moses from Onipa.
Hello.
time.
They are raping. Moses, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes. Good morning, Moses.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Concerning about the raping matter that you are discussing about it. One, the government needs to find solution to those girls that wear nonsense dress. Because that nonsense dress attracts a lot of men to do what they are not what they not expect to do before. Now, from where I'm working, I can tell you now that it's not that I control myself. I can do that things.
Self-control.
Because the way they are dressing there, the way they are, if they call one step now, they call it bun shot. Nearly leave their private part, everything outside. But if government want to find solution to it, the dress that the girl wear before the man rape, they must bring the cloth. Two, if government make law today that two of them, they are going to prison yard, everything will stop.
Okay.
Because it's you will go outside now, you will see the way ladies they are dressing, which is not good. If you don't have anything to do before, when they wear the dress past your front, you are not a dead person. Your body will move, and from there you will start to target. So government should talk about their dressing.
Thank you, Moses. All right.
So,
okay. So Moses, Pain Doctor was saying you almost raped.
Well,
for your thoughts,
raping my time. Anyway, it was not forcefully, so it's not a rape.
So
I gave consent.
You gave consent,
Yeah,
and of course we are allowed to. That's just to ease the atmosphere. But what can we pick from his statement? He said something about the male that perpetrated and the female that is not well dressed should have penalties.
Yes, that is part of what we are talking about, justifying rape. You see, when we say justifying rape, most times it is always about when you say that even the women, even the victim is an accomplice. They say no. You will see some feminists, they will be arguing that no, you are part of the problem. How can you say a woman cannot dress
the way she wants?
But this is about considering how your action affects the society. Yes, fine, you own your body, but do you consider how the way you display yourself, the way you display some part of your body, some sensitive part, how it affects others, how it affects the sanity of the society? Fine, okay, we have a kitchen which is in a house that is a communal kitchen that everybody comes there to cook. We come there with our cooker, with our stoves and the rest, and you now bought some petrol and now put it in the kitchen and say, how can you put a keg of petrol where we have cooking pot and the rest, and say no, you own your money and you own your petrol, nobody can order you around how you where and how you put your petrol. That is nonsensical, because we know that the nature of petrol demands that whenever it catches fire. So the nature of men should be considered. Men are created in a way that they are attracted by what they see. Let's leave seeing someone outside aside. In our house, when even our wives, that's why the fact that you've been with them for years, we still find them attractive. And you see, and most important part of it is that Islam as a religion provides that even when you want to divorce a woman, your wife, the woman is entitled to stay in your house for some time. And do you know why? The reason is that within that time that you are looking at, okay, fine, we have agreed that you are going.
There could be a reconsideration.
The woman is allowed to dress provocatively, to dress seductively. That by the end of the time, once you have done that, you find yourself in doing what you think you won't do, then you naturally the divorce case will fizzle out.
Rise your judgment.
So it is that same thing that applies in society. What we see in our life that attracts us, you are now presenting it to us. You are whetting somebody's appetite. In fact, that is a threat. You are threatening others. You are making them uncomfortable.
I think it's very important that we continue this conversation. We'll take our first break now. Feel free to join the conversation. We are establishing a lot of things. As we move forward in the conversation, we'll get to the bus stop where we'll start asking questions about sex education, protection. Are the children supposed to be taught how they can protect themselves? But we'll still bring you other cases of rape. Then, of course, we're still looking at the victim of rape here. Why is it often the female and not that suffers as a victim and not the male that might have perpetrated, or vice versa? So it's U45 Morning Show. Do join us again.
Hello, what is Saturday for you? For me, Saturday is for spice. Join me here every Saturday on Super Screen Television as we bring you the Super Breakfast Show, showing from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. See ya!
I got time.
Welcome back to U45 Morning Show, and we're looking at the issues around rape here, sexual abuse as well. But we'll have two gentlemen in the studio that have been establishing few points on the subject matter that we'll bring to the table. However, as a viewer, you have an opportunity to contribute via phone call, or you send us words via the numbers on the screen. Someone just asked a question here, that is rape, the act of rape or the act of raping, is it not genetic? Does it run through the blood? Is it possible that someone's grandfather actually raped people in the past and a particular person continues in another generation? How possible is that? We'll bring in different side of this particular one. But let's come to the studio quickly. Let's talk about rape and genetics.
Yeah, I think it is, when we talk about the gene now acting, now being the dictator of what we do.
Okay.
Yes.
You take that, the gene. Irubasa from Yaba. Irubasa, if you can hear us.
My contribution is Jesus said something.
Irubasa, you have to turn down. If you can hear me, you need to turn down the volume of your TV set. Very important.
Okay.
Okay, please do that for us so that the gentleman can. Okay.
Jesus said, deliver us not into temptation. Also liking it to the story of David. David was walking on the rooftop and it was natural, not actually finished. But he sighted a woman naked, bathing. She was taken up. And he was attracted and he committed that evil he did. Understand it now. Our women should be cautioned. They lure men into so many things they never wanted to.
Eribasa, we lost it, but we got what you established first. The gentleman from my far right is talking about genetics quickly.
Yeah, you see, everything is, our makeup is in our DNA. You see, fine, and our DNA is what we inherited from our parents. So, if some people, their gene is in a way that they are hypersexual. So, when you are hypersexual and you lack self-control, lacking self-control could also be traced to your gene. That some people cannot control some things. That some people cannot control their libido. Just as some people cannot control their appetite to eat. So we see some people that, he eats a lot. That's how his father eats. Even the grandfather is, in fact, he has a name in the village for being the
all right, so we'll come to you to talk about alcoholism as part of it. But Samuel from Bariga, Samuel, how are you doing today?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. You see, I want to add to what the journalist and the philanthropist have said about men being raped. You see, it's actually 100% correct. Because when you come to the issue of rape, fine, we know men are being raped too, but the percentage is quite low, and it's going to be difficult. Because from what I discover from people's experience, this issue of men being raped is most times through blackmail. Because a man cannot be raped if he doesn't have an erection. That is 100% correct. Okay. So in most cases, it's through blackmail. Maybe, for instance, there's this kind of private situation between a man and a lady, and the lady probably said, you know what, if you don't do this, I'm gonna blow alarm. So some cases, the man might be forced to do what he doesn't want to do. And you see, this issue of punishment for sex for rapists, I think if somebody rapes a lady and the lady, probably she gave up, there should be death penalty. And then if the lady didn't die, it should be life imprisonment. And I think this issue of sex education, is not only for the young girls. I think the young boys who need to be well educated. Because some of these young boys, they have this idea of, I can have sex with anybody if I choose to. Not knowing that what they want to do is actually a rape. Okay. And you look at castration, I think with the kind of environment we are, if that is included, probably that will also discourage some persons. And you see this issue of sex offenders register. I think if we have that in Nigeria, that will also go a long way, because you see people who commit crime in Lagos here, they will go to Abuja, NFCC will still employ them after committing all manner of atrocities. If you go to developed country, it doesn't happen like that. You can't commit a crime in London and go to Newcastle to think nobody will know. Of course, they will know when they do a criminal record on you. They will know. So I think that should also incorporate in our system. And finally, this issue of genetic, I want to believe that a rapist, being a rapist is not genetic, because for me, for you to rape, you must actually have an idea of it, not that you are being born to be a rapist. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Samuel. Okay, Samuel has been able to do what I would call a critical analysis. He was able to touch on several points, but I wouldn't want us to get distracted by what I asked you. That is why we just raised the point where we said, I'll read it quickly. Man rapes 11-year-old in Benue, blames alcohol. What do you think about alcoholism as an instigator of the rape act?
Of course, it's when you take alcohol, you get intoxicated, and you do things that you naturally wouldn't have done. However, there are multiple choices. There are things you can do. You can go to bed. Do you understand? You can engage in different things, but having it in mind that you want to rape, because you're still, no matter how drunk you are, you are still conscious to an extent. You are still very conscious.
Because drunk can often get home. I don't know how it happens.
They drive, they get home. Do you understand? They can even tell, after the experience, they can tell what happened, what they did, and all that. So to a level, you are conscious. So I think that would be, it would be wrong to say because you were under the influence of alcohol, you went to rape not just anyone, not just an adult, an 11-year-old. There's a scripture, this part in the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth, speaketh. Out of the abundance of the heart, sometimes we, our actions, it causes what the things that we do, because you must at some point in time have nurtured that thought, and it's like a seed that you plant. And one day, the situation might just present itself and you see yourself doing it. Do you understand? So it happens that way sometimes, that when we nurture thoughts unconsciously, that's where sometimes we are very, very indisciplined with the way we think.
Okay, just to continue, you're still going to continue this. I want to now add, you said one will nurture thoughts, and the federal government of Nigeria is saying lockdown raised rape cases. Lockdown raised rape cases. Now, you were talking about what will nurture. We know how the lockdown works. People were clamoring to go out and the rest. What's your evaluation of that statement? Government is trying to at least give us a point that the lockdown too contributed to number of rape cases.
Well,
I do mind.
It's yeah, of course, and I do mind, but I think it still boils down to personal responsibility. For example, although I'm not married, but this period I've also tried to engage myself in reading, taking courses. Do you understand? So if, for example, you are being locked down, doesn't mean you should now, find yourself doing things, that you shouldn't be doing. So it boils down to personal responsibility. Of course, if you're married now, of course, there are cases where couples indulge more in more sexual activity. They have more sexual intercourse and all that. That's allowed. That's understandable because they are married and they didn't have that time, and now they have that quality of time to do what they want. But raping now still points down to wrong thinking patterns that people have. Do you understand? And then finding one way to channel their energy, so it's at that point you need to take personal responsibility. You need to take personal responsibility, because you can't say you're locked down with your siblings in the house, or locked down with your cousin or friend, and at some point you say you have to rape. No.
Okay.
I would like to take it from the point of acting under the influence of an alcohol. You see, the guy who raped now could argue that, okay, fine, what happened was that I had no choice. I was in a state of depression. I was just thinking I have to kill the boredom, so I had to take some alcohol. Taking the alcohol to a point of stupor, or to a point whereby the way you think now becomes distorted. You now have a depraved mind. I'm saying...
Okay, my namesake is calling from Ipaja.
Okay.
My namesake, go ahead from Ipaja. Yano Paja, I beg your pardon.
Hello.
Yes.
I don't think...
It sounds like a female.
I think women too.
Okay, so Christopher, you have to call again. The line is not clear. Yes, you turn down the volume of the TV set. Okay, so
I think it boils down to the fact that someone that has taken alcohol now have a depraved mind. Yes, the mind is functioning but malfunctioning. The mind might now be presenting that 11-year-old girl like a more mature version of herself. They will say, oh, this is something else. That is the same case
because of the distorted
depraved mind, and that could be the same case whereby someone raped an 80-year-old woman. The depraved mind might be presenting that woman as just like an 18-year-old lady. So the mind is depraved, but is that now a justification? No, it's not a justification, because he has the choice either to take the alcohol to kill the boredom or not. There are several things he could have engaged himself in. So he made the choice to take alcohol. Then he must be held responsible, because before you can reward or punish anybody, the act of making a free choice
is always present.
It's always present. So he made the choice that led to another thing. Okay. So he must be held responsible.
All right, so the man has been held. Now we'll bring you what Snaptip is saying. Okay, but Daniel will speak to us first from Yaba. Daniel, good morning.
You guys are just blaming man for what they're doing. But I think it's the woman.
Okay, I think it's okay.
They all are dressing indecent.
Okay, we can't take the call. We can't take the call for the distortion. We've actually encouraged viewers to turn down the volume of their TV set. So Daniela, I suppose that's what we're supposed to get as the name, if that's correct. Please turn down the volume and please be a little bit diplomatic. We'd like to get what you're saying, establish, then make your contributions, very importantly, because other people are watching from across the world, so your statement matters a lot. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so let's take a nap tip now. Nigerians justifying rape will be arrested. Nap tip warns. And the story says the Director General, National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Mrs. Julie Okadonli, has cautioned Nigerians to desist from justifying rape or get arrested. She accused parents of not properly bringing up their words and children, explaining that 90% of rape cases were committed by uncles, fathers, and relations. Speaking while responding to questions from journalists in Abuja on Wednesday on the rising incident of gender-based violence across the country, Okadonli said careless acts by parents were responsible for rape cases. I'll read further. She said NAPTIP would approach the Ministry of Justice to push for the establishment of a special court to try rapists. Okadonli also called for life imprisonment for convicted rapists, adding that there was a need to educate Nigerians on rape issues. Now, she stated in the last 1 month, Nigeria has witnessed growing incidences of rape recorded across all parts of the country. And she said, every day we wake up to the news of another girl, woman, or child raped, battered, or killed in the process. No need to go any further. I think what we've established is enough for us to actually take some points now. But I think we'll have a viewer that would like to participate. So let's get that immediately so we can continue. Jude from Mushi, please go ahead. Jude, please go ahead. Yes. Jude, we can hear you.
Yeah, I totally disagree with what the man that raped someone in, I think, I've forgotten what they called it. The man that raped 11-year-old.
Okay, yes, yeah, because of alcohol.
That got drunk. Okay, situation whereby someone got drunk, will the person be able, will the person rape the daughter when he got as a result of being drunk? Is it possible?
Okay.
I think the person has been not seeing evil in his mind before the action.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
Jude, thank you very much from Munshi. We hope Munshi is doing well today. Okay, so that said, he just established something, but quickly he said, is it possible for someone that is drunk to rape his own daughter?
Yeah, I said that.
You said that. Okay.
I mentioned that you know, it's impossible for such a thing to happen. Do you understand? Perhaps it's been happening, and these cases are not, brought to the forefront. However, that's why I say he also said something that he has been nurturing evil sometimes, somewhere in his, you can't just see a plant or something sprout. Somewhere, somehow, someone has planted something. So that's what happened. He also has the point that, of course, when you are intoxicated, your judgment, it has a point. But I think that you are still conscious to a large extent. You're still very conscious to a large extent, and you can control yourself.
Okay.
Well, what I see in that is that it all boils down to the mind. And that is why, fine, I'm happy that you are a psychologist, and when we talk about psychology, we are talking about the mind. So, once the mind is not in the right state, and now you see, you will always see me going back to Islam each time, because I'm an Islamic scholar. You see, when the mind is not in the right state, it can do anything. And that is why you see Islam eating hard on alcohol. That no, you shouldn't take, because the greatest gift that is given to man, aside the life, is the mind. So that is the most precious gift you've been given after the gift of life. Okay. Now for you to now treat or do things that will affect or deprave that greatest gift, is really not allowed. It's not permissible, because it shows that you do not appreciate that gift. Okay. And that is that very thing that distinguishes you from every other creature of God. Okay. So because you have a good mind, you have a sound mind to think, and think very well, think correctly. Okay, so anything that could distort that is frowned at.
All right, so for what you said now, I think I want to continue the NAPTIP report on the media. Now, having said that, she said in the last 1 month, Nigeria has witnessed growing incidences of rape. Now, there is a quote here. This has equally triggered all manners of responses from Nigerians to the extent that some make jokes out of it. Some persons unashamedly blame the victims of adorning themselves in provocative and revealing materials, and some have actually displayed annoying insensitivity by posting such things in social media, trying to explain away a crime. Rape is a crime. It is a violence against persons. Now, the NAPTIP board said cases could be reported on the agency's phone line, and then we'll take it up from there. Nigerian police do have a number currently. If you're being raped or abused, let us get that. So let's go to another matter, which is what I want us to look at quickly here. Okay, so we're on the part of the lockdown now. I just want to further that particular one. Let's talk about I do mind for you.
Yeah.
What can that, how do you justify what government is saying here? Lockdown raised rape cases.
Yeah.
Government.
Well, part of what we'll be witnessing in the early part of next year is that we'll have harvest of babies, either out of marital sex or you see, we will definitely have that, because even among married couples, you will find out that things like that will happen because they are together. Now, you see, it's a thing of the body. There's a way, there's a body chemistry, there's a way our body works. So once you are idle, you'll be looking, you see, it is just natural. It's a natural instinct to be looking for a way to channel your energy.
Yeah.
So if it's your wife that's available, you channel it there. If you have a study, you channel it there. If you have things like that, you channel it. So now think of someone. That's why I was happy when I was listening to one of those that were interviewed during the Voice Pop that said, even employment is part of it. Because once you don't have something doing, there is something, just as the Yoruba will say, that it means that it is that idle mind that the devil tries to, okay, you are idle. I have an errand for you. Okay. It is that idle mind that the devil sent on an errand. And when the devil sends someone on an errand, we know what such an errand will be. Yeah.
You know, but the question is, does this justify the attitude or the behavior of society? Because it just still shows the kind of thoughts that we have in our minds. Okay. There are people who, of course, are locked down and they are very well. It boils down to self-control, which means that we really need to look at our value system. When we raise children, how do we raise them? We need to start eating things like self-control.
Yeah.
It's natural for you to, have an impulse, want to do this, or for example, someone gets you angry. You have options. I can pick up a stone and hit him. I have several options. The ability to choose a good option shows your level of self-control. Yeah. So your idol, there are things that you can do. You can read. You can indulge in things that you enjoy. Of course, that feeling will come when you see the opposite sex and when she's even dressed in a provocative way. But you still have that ability to control yourself, which parents should. It boils down to parenting. Parents should begin to teach their children, their sons, self-control, and to see the opposite sex, they should protect the opposite sex, because the opposite sex, they are more vulnerable. While the ladies, they should teach the ladies sex education, even both sexes, and they should also teach the ladies how to dress, because naturally the men naturally see women like meat, like game, like when your hunter goes to the forest.
We've seen,
and then
we've seen students from colleges doing points, scoring points.
Yeah.
Points, got more.
If you look at what we see on our screen, these days, if you can hardly go online and not see nude pictures, pornography and different kinds of things. And of course, people, nudes now is now the order of the game. Just like you spoke about bomb shots and all that. All these things, of course. They contribute immensely. Okay. Do you understand? But it still boils down to self-control.
Okay, gentlemen, self-control is the key word that we're taking as we do this particular one now, taking a break. When we come back, let's do the last story we're bringing. A particular lady actually raped a 4-year-old, and police has actually apprehended her. So let's talk about it. Then there is this video that trended. We can't put it up because it's so disturbing. 3 minors now, 2 male, 1 female. The girl is not up to 10. She's the one that set up the phone, and they started doing the act that their parents are doing now, as in that number. So the girl was on top of the gentle, the small boy with her mouth, while the other boy was behind her. Very disturbing video. Church members shared it across, and they said, please parents, after watching, please delete, but take caution. So things are happening. The kind of contents too that our children watch are very, very key. So if you're one of those parents that feel it's a digital age, your child should have a device, nobody is saying that. Don't do that. But do we have some level of control?
Yes.
The remote at home, who is holding it? What do they watch? They have their personal room. All these things, we need to continue watching that. But that's where we're going to continue the conversation. We'll take a break now. Mr. Peace, we'll bring him again. He went to the street. He actually talked to several people. So we'll take another part of it. Then we'll come back here and wrap up this conversation with the gentleman in the studio. Do join us again.
My people for Naija, how na dey? Now on top super screen we dey, and we dey inside yarn your own. As I dey yarn, as you dey hear, as you dey go. You want chook mouth for the matter wey we carry come today? Mash follow us for inside Instagram and Twitter at Super Screen TV NG. You dey for inside WhatsApp. Copy that number. Wey be your village name?
Ndubis.
Ndubis. Which punishment you feel say better for rapists?
According to the law, I think life imprisonment. More especially if it is child molestation. Yes.
Which punishment you feel say is sweet for rapists?
If na for me, I go talk say make dem cut am.
Make dem
cut am. Make dem kukuma finish am. Because na one girl life is spoil now.
Some people they talk say our dressing nowadays they get as it be. How you see that matter?
Yes. They said appearance showed the matter, because the way at times some ladies dress nastically, because sometimes they'll put on bomb shorts. And there was a day on my street, I saw a girl, she's putting on, it's just only pints. Let me just put it as pints. Because it's this boxer men do wear, and it's just here. So seeing that one, won't they rape her? They will rape her now. They will even finish her. Like 10 guys will go on her. Yes now, but raping is not good. There are some child, you tell them, don't go out, sit down there. The child will just look for a way to go out. Because mommy has gone out, let me just find. The pikin go find way, come off for house. So training, it's only God that help us, sha. It's only God that God help us, they train pikin. But we just try our best.
Some maybe lack of self-control, they no fit control themselves. Okay. That is why they go do that thing, of which no be normal. I believe say no be normal,
no
because
be normal level.
If at all na normal, I no see how person wey dey normal like this, and you know that crime must land him in prison. You understand? Of which he will cost like 21 years imprisonment, and he go carry himself, carry in hand, go put for fire. It's not, you know, if it happen natural like that.
I be say na spiritual matter be that too. Na only man dey rape?
No. Women they rape too, especially all those uncontrolled women. They're after fine boys. Okay. Them too, they rape. Men also rape, but the majority of rapers or rapists are men.
Okay, now men they do and pass. Okay, if woman rape man, what is they supposed to do?
Of course, he will face the same penalty, the same consequences. Yes.
Okay.
He will still land in prison as well.
Greet the people for village, oh. Some of them go see you for inside our YouTube, for inside internet there, and some of them go watch you for our Instagram handle there. You dey feel me? You said they watch them, abi?
I believe they will watch me as well. So my people in village, especially those my village people, agree to now. Una stop rapists. Especially me, I study criminologist. If I catch you raping, I will land you where you deserve. Thank you.
Which punishment you feel say is sweet for rapist?
Na rapist matter for this country na something wey me I don dey hear wey be say e dey baffle me like mad as I dey here.
Okay.
You understand? Na direct killing I wan make government dey kill them because na animal dem be. Anybody wey dey rape na animal im be. So I wan make government give them a direct killing as a punishment by hanging. Men die there sef. Men die there because they are not good to be within the community. At times, let's make we talk reality. You understand? The dressing code has a lot of role to play because the way you dress is the way you are being addressed. You understand? So there are some indecent dressing wey no good for public.
Okay.
When you are coming out. So make we try to caution our ladies and girls mostly. Make them try to cover their nakedness a bit instead of coming.
Welcome back to the final lap on You for the 5 Thursday edition right here on Super Screen TV. We're looking at the issue around rape, and we've had several sides of it. The viewers are not taking it easy. Those that we got on the street are not smiling. And of course, our gentlemen in the studio are giving us, from the intellectual standpoint, a philosophical view and a psychological view. What a wonderful mix there. But I'd like to take for a wrap the press statement from the Director General, National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Mrs. Julie Okadonli. Now, her final statement here is that the NAPTIP board said cases could be reported on the agency's phone lines and social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, she said her agency had developed a template of procedural response for rape victims and their families, adding that a victim should not bat or change her clothes, while advising that the condom used by the rapist should be collected and a doctor report should be obtained. That is NAPTIP's statement. I'll take response from the gentleman before we go to the issue of the lady that actually raped a minor.
Well, I think as any serious attempt at addressing rape must cover the scope of indecent dressing. Just as the law is meant to protect the weak, it must balance the scale of justice by also making sure that the strong is also not exploited. Because once we say that, okay, people are saying that indecent dressing is part of it, you are saying it's not part of it. Anyone saying that indecent dressing is not part of the cause of rape is part of the problem. That person is part of the problem. Because we have to look at preventive, not just curative. We have to look at preventive. Okay, when people are saying this is part of it, this is part of it, and you are saying it's not part of it, what is it that you are protecting? Why don't you look at people who are complaining that indecent dressing is part of it and say, no, it is not part of it? Fine. People might now ask the question, what about those ladies that are well, those using hijab, that are well covered? And I will tell you how indecent dressing leads to that. You see someone outside that has dressed indecently at when the sexual appetite of someone. And this guy could not get at her. So, he sees this lady as more vulnerable and easier catch. Easier catch. So, that sexual appetite has been aroused in him.
He wants to see what's in the cover.
Yeah. So, all those women dressing indecently are not only causing rape, are not only attracting rape, but they are also endangering the lives and the self-esteem and dignity and honor of other women, of our wives, of our sisters, and of our daughters. So it is not just about you, but you are arousing others. Fine, they might not get you, but they get at others. So you are a problem if you dress indecently, and you are part of the problem if you think indecent dressing is not part of it.
Okay. All right. Interesting one. So what's your take on that as well?
I quite agree with him. I quite agree with him to an extent. That yes, we have different kinds of beings, and I often say that the body itself has a language. If a wife wants to get her husband to bed, she doesn't really need to speak. All she needs to do is just to dress in a dress that will be provocative, or show some flesh, and then the man would reciprocate. So, and if you look at communication, 58% of communication is body language, 38% is tone of voice, while just 7% is our words. So we are communicating. You can tell if I'm confident, you can tell if I'm scared by my body language. Note the word language. So our bodies have
body speaks.
Your body speaks. So when women wear such clothes, of course it could lead. However, it does not justify a man.
Okay, so let's let's quickly touch down on what we have on the screen right now, the cultural and religious view. So for married people, what should they do?
You see, for married people, you have an avenue to channel your sexual urge. If you think perhaps your wife is not that strong enough, you are hypersexual to the extent that one wife cannot satisfy you sexually. That is why we have avenue for polygamy. You can take another one. So you can channel your sexual urge in some places, not now doing it in a wrong way. And that is why you see it is allowed, it is permissible that once you are of a certain age, once you reach you attain puberty, you should get married, because these instincts, this sexual instinct start functioning. And if there is no legal or authorized way of channeling those urges, then it goes through the illegal means, and that's about the mind. So, because according to Plato, we have different part of the human mind. In analyzed man, we have the part that is the nous, the thumos, and the epithumia. So, the nous is the mind that controls everything. That's where self-control, which is hammering on, is all about. Then we have the chest, which is the bravery. What tells you, yes, you can do it. And we have the appetitive, that desires. Now it is where training now comes in, is when you now train your mind, your nous, your mind, to be more powerful and effective and overpower your appetite. It could be your eating appetite, your food appetite, your appetite for sex, your appetite for anything. So it boils down to the mind. Once the mind is functioning very well, it will be able to control the appetite. No, you can't go there.
Self-control.
Yeah. Yes. So that is why you see some women say, at least even if you see someone dressed provocatively, you are supposed to control yourself. Remember that there are animals among men.
Okay. The pain doctor now, without being too scriptural here, the Christian folks will tell you, no, you can't marry another wife. What's the take on that?
Well, I'm a Christian, but I'm also a psychologist, and I'll look at it from the critical point of view that, of course, if you cannot control yourself, it's far better for you to take another wife than for you to start messing around. It's far, because that way it's legal having to marry someone else. Do you understand? And it just still boils down to self-control, like I said. Do you understand? Because In a case where, for example, you impregnate another lady out there, and then the family says, oh, you can't just take a child, you have to marry. At that point, you have to take responsibility and then marry, and all you need to do is just to ensure that you play your responsibilities. Do you understand? Otherwise, self-control. If you have self-control, you can keep yourself with even one woman. Do you understand? And in the case of death, of course, maybe your spouse dies. Of course, you can take another wife just to, because we have these genes. We are naturally wired to want to, express ourselves, want to, have intercourse. Men have that urge externally than women. So any woman they see out there is a potential, what do you call it?
Game.
A potential game. Do you understand? That's why I said self-control it matters a lot in life, and it boils down to emotional intelligence. People need to learn how to control themselves. It's not every thought that comes to your mind, or everything that comes to your mind that you act on. You should be able to filter, the thoughts, the things that come into your mind, and be able to judge, what do I need to do? Should I need to do this or do that?
Okay.
Do you understand? So I think that's how.
All right, interesting. We have from Okota, Emeka joining us this morning. Emeka, good morning.
Is that the raping of a woman and also having sexual something, 80% of the whole board belongs to women. Because most women will stay in their house, in their daughter, almost naked, going out, does not say anything. I was in Access Bank, Okota. That was on the 1st of this month. There was a lady that came inside the bank. She was almost naked. The skirt was not up to the center of the lamp, and everybody in the bank was watching her. Every man in the bank was watching her, and I thought one lady, I think that how this get dressed. There has been raped now. What would they say? Then you now find out even in the house, the women will bring their sisters or their friends inside the house, and they will allow that lady to put on nightgown. Go inside the mother's basin, to get food or do anything. Then what does the man to do? We say that the man is wrong. When a married woman will allow the sister to go and serve the husband with nightgown and pants, leaving the bed open, then we will not blame the man. You don't have to blame the man, you have to blame the wife. Most women, their mother will come to their house. See their mother before you now know you. Husband will need job. He's supposed to come back around 8 o'clock. You see the husband coming back around 4 o'clock. Knowing fully well that is where he will get the either the sister to the wife or the mother. Before you now know you, you will not blame the man. You blame your wife. Even this lockdown, as we are talking about this lockdown, you see a lot of things that will happen for September. A man was complaining. A man was complaining to me that managed from her wife. The wife said that since this lockdown, she has never been providing all what you're supposed to provide, and you're asking for help. Will you go to a shower in a shower money or that day in a shower? And this is a word that you married into your house. You did the marriage, you did the what do they call it, traditional marriage and the wedding marriage. And the woman is refusing himself. It's supposed not to be so.
Okay.
So that is the point. I love what the two gentlemen were saying here. I have been listening to new people. I heard all what you are saying.
Thank you.
But we need to caution our women. There was a day I was come back from job. I thought I'd select. I saw a girl, almost 8 years, with about 12 other girls. She be at the age of 12, maybe to 15. Saw them buying BBC blue film. And when their father is not at home and their mother is not at home, you see them playing those things. Then what would those things play them to? You see most of them, they will take it to their boyfriend's house, playing it.
All right. Thank
so
you very much,
from school.
All right. Emeka, thank you very much. We don't have too much of that time, but we want to thank you for contributing. You've been able to explain some good points there, especially how wives bring their friends to the house and the wife dress, the friends dress sassy dressing while they are in the house, and the husband is a young man too. So let's see if we take one more. We're about to draw the curtain for today. Otherwise, we'll have the gentlemen continue this conversation quickly. Okay, all right, so let's turn to this quickly. Just for a wrap-up, we're about to share our thoughts. The Nigerian police has arrested a 24-year-old Canadian returnee for raping a 4-year-old boy at Rivers State. The minor was defied by Esther, who is said to be the son of Esther's boss, where she works as a nanny and housekeeper to the victim. Now, according to the police report, Esther was having intimacy with the little boy immediately she started work with the victim's family after she was repatriated from Canada. It's also stated that Esther has been working with the family for many years.
Yeah.
Nanny issue quickly, just 60 seconds each. let's take
I often say, I can tell you the kind of thoughts you're thinking by your actions, the things that you're doing. Everything starts with your thoughts. A rapist first has to think about the act of raping before it now begins to manifest on the outside. So such a person, of course, you would blame her for doing such a thing because she has wrong think patterns and she needs to work on herself. So she needs to face
the music. Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I see that more as sexual abuse rather than rape.
Okay.
Fine, because in my own definition of rape, there must be force. You see, except if when we now listen to the story of the boy, I was forced, I was this, I was that. But it is at least no one can argue that it is not sexual abuse because the guy, the small boy, cannot really think for himself. Yeah, it's just to. And I actually imagine what the rape would look like. No, considering the size of the genital, what it could be.
The pleasure that.
What it could really be. You see, that is why except we listen to this case in detail. That is when we can really. But there's no point that sexual abuse happened, and that is why we cannot say that women are not culpable when it comes to sexual abuse or rape.
Okay.
But really, we need to. What is the nature?
Let's take your final thought. We're about to leave the studio. Your final thought.
Well, my final thought is that rapists should be tagged, and maybe coming from the Islamic perspective, I will because a rapist is treated as a robber.
It's a criminal offense.
It's a criminal offense. So someone that falls within that of terrorism and anything because he has terrorized another person, which the effect will live forever as that person lives. So. What Islam recommends is that such a person should be killed, 1, or should be crucified, 2. The third one is that the person should be amputated. One hand, the hand here should be cut off, while the leg here should be cut off. So that's part of it. And at the end of the day, so each of these stipulations should be will be according to what really happened, the case,
the magnitude of the case.
So at least even if we will not subscribe to killing the rapist, as many will say, okay, life is essential, we can't just, and perhaps we might find out that some of these things we need to establish them. So I want the government to put in place to address the factors causing rape.
The factors around.
Then this the punishment can now become more strict as we make sure we have addressed the causes. So if we are to tag them, so even when we see someone that has just one hand and one leg, so this is a rapist. So it is easy. So when people are tagged, so that is why that addresses your question. We say that why is it that only the victim lives with the consequence of the rape? So let the perpetrator, the rapist, also live with the consequence by having one arm amputated and the leg amputated. So we have
that's a deep one there. Just your psychological takeaway now. Psychologically what should we do?
There's a saying that the mind is a beautiful servant, but also a dangerous master. So we should learn to manage our minds, learn to control our minds. Self-control is very key. If you're a man, if you don't have self-control, you have no business being a father, because fatherhood is responsibility. The fact that you have a piano doesn't mean you're a musician. So you need to learn to control yourself. Otherwise, you become a menace to the society. So let's all learn, and parenting is also very key. We should teach our sons that the female gender should be protected. We should do everything because they are sisters. Without them, we have no future. If they are endangered, their species is endangered, then we have no future because we reproduce through them. And of course, the women too should be taught self-education and manner of dressing, because they will always be a problem to the men if they if they dress provocatively. There will always be a problem.
Okay, well, it has been a very holistic one. I want to thank everybody for participating. Those are called in, thank you very much. The conversation tomorrow is going to be different because tomorrow is actually June 12th, Democracy Day. We're going to be looking at governance. We're going to be looking at several issues here. And we're actually cooking up something for you. You might want to get the scoop of it when you join us tomorrow. It's going to be all about Nigeria and moving the nation forward. From the entire production crew, I want to thank the gentlemen in the studio. I remain Christopher Nwaogboh. It's bye for now.